Hey,
Hi.
I am live with London Lo.
Hey, boo.
How you doing? You look beautiful.
Thank you. I was like, let me get cute for y'all.
Oh, turn up.
Because I've been in the house looking like a gremlin.
Oh, oh no, not a gremlin.
Yeah, girl. Just real down home. Very relaxed. Very ponytail.
Oh, okay. Well, everybody, welcome to Be Great, Get to Great, where I'm highlighting people in their careers, what they're doing. We have wonderful,
Yeah.
the fabulous, the beautiful, the talented, the intelligent
Hey, girl.
Miss
Hi.
London Lo.
Hey, boo. Hey, y'all. Thank y'all for watching. We're
Yes,
gonna
yes.
we're gonna have some fun, stuck in the house and all.
Yes, we're gonna have a lot of fun, and it's Saturday, so it's the weekend.
Yeah,
Weekend.
we should have turned this into a happy hour, but I'm
Yes,
chill.
yes. Everyone, if you have any type of drink, water, juice.
Hey, bestie. Hey, friends.
So we want to make
Aww.
this interactive, right? So we're gonna talk about London's journey, answer any questions that you guys have. So please, please, please comment, ask whatever. We're gonna go
Yes.
kind of talk about everything. I have a lot of things to
Yeah.
talk about, so I'm excited. So
Me too.
to start this off, I want you to just tell us, like, again, like your name, where you're from, and what you're doing now.
Okay. Well, again, my name is London Lo. For those of you who don't know me, nice to meet you. This is our, official introduction. I'm a South Side of Chicago girl. Was raised here. I was not born here. I was born on a military base in Texas. Shout out Texas. Um, But yeah, my whole life I've been here. I lived in Atlanta for a little while. I lived in Miami for a little while, but I'm a Chicago girl. So yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know you lived all over.
Girl, yeah.
Look at
Hmm.
you. So how I know London is through SIU. Shout out to Carbondale.
The Lukey in
We
the
also
building.
both pledged Delta Beta,
Hmm.
aka.
And we're homecoming queens and stuff.
Oh
You
yes,
know.
yes. A lot of similarities. We had a lot of bonding time in college, and even now. And so she is a singer, songwriter. So I want you to talk about how from college you got into singing, right? And I think
Hmm.
so. Like when I talked to Kiasha and I talked to Lay the other day, he's a hairstylist, Key, but like,
Yeah.
you don't need schooling, right, to go into that career field. So
Hmm.
I kind of want you to talk about how schooling either maybe helped you or even like got you into singing, or you already knew, like, I already like singing, so like.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Mhm.
for sure. So, fun fact, I didn't even know, my family didn't know, nobody knew that I wanted to sing until I was like the last semester of my junior year in high school.
Wow.
So, senior year, I was like, I don't really want to go to college. Like, I was not an advocate for it. I wasn't trying to go. I was like, well, let me just try my hand at music. They like, we love you, but you're going to college. And, that's kind of where SIU came about because my parents met singing. So singing was always in the family. I just was too scared to do it.
Okay.
So once I finally opened it up, I was like, no, I want to do this. And what was crazy, I just love how God works through the whole thing. So I'm going to give you like a little backdrop. So I was like, I want to be a singer. My best friend at the time, Amanda, she was cool with her god brother who was cool with a producer. His name was Nove.
Mm-hmm.
And I met him, and this is while I'm still in high school, still in Chicago. He like, so what college you going to? I'm like, SIU. He was like, what? I go there. I'm like, what? Okay. So he started working with me, was producing tracks for me, like fresh out. Like as soon as I wanted to start recording, my big brother Nova is basically who gave me the real life example of how to do music, how to record, how to write, all that stuff. So when I got to SIU, he just took me under his wing. So he was like, come out the gate swinging, do this
Mm-hmm.
talent show. And my first talent show ever was acapella. So that
Are
was
you
my
serious?
first time. Yeah, girl, it was crazy. I was trash too. It was real bad. It was crazy. So we did acapella. And then I just started growing from there because I was trying to figure out what is the sound, what am I as an artist, what do I stand for, what do I want to sing about, that sort of thing. So it just kind of like started from there. And then throughout college, we would go, me and my brother. So we were in this group called New Wave. And I was the singer, the only female singer, and there was a bunch of rappers. And my brother Reese, he was a singer. We would go to different colleges and they would do like rap battles and stuff like that. And I would
Mm-hmm.
sing hooks for them. And I just felt like I was part of like Young Money or something. You couldn't tell me nothing. You know, at the time, I just thought it was the best thing ever. So I'm glad I had that opportunity of going to college and meeting those guys, because they kind of, if I wouldn't have had them, I don't know if my transition into being an artist would have been as smooth, because I would have had to figure out a lot of things by myself. So yeah, went to college, had an amazing college experience, learned a lot about, so for those that don't know, I have a degree in radio television and I minored in public relations. So a lot of what I learned in college is what I use to put towards my own career, because I'm an independent artist. So a lot of the stuff that I had to do, like the groundwork of being an artist, I did on my own, basically from the tools that I learned in college. So I won't ever say that like it wasn't beneficial as an artist to do it, because a lot of how you make it in the music industry is knowing the business. So I feel like going to college was like a plus for me. I wouldn't say it detracted from my career. It just pushed it back a little, but I'm still okay with that. So then after college, I started working at Guitar Center. That was like my first little real music job or whatever. Shout out to Ish, because she the one that hired me and I'm me. So I work with a lot of women in music now that I met back then. So I learned a lot about the recording process and, you know, that whole spiel while I was at Guitar Center. Shortly after that, I started dabbling more into acting. So then I started doing stage plays, singing and acting and doing that whole thing. Then after that, I started working heavy with Ish as far as like the writing process, like writing for other people and just, you know, honing my craft. But at the same time, I was having all these songs come in my head that I couldn't figure out how to get out. So I would just use the equipment that I bought while I was working at Guitar Center. I bought like a home studio system. So I used that, recorded all the songs that were in my head, and just was like holding on to them basically, like for dear life. I was like, I'm too scared to release it. I don't know what this sounds like, you know, all of that. And my older brother, CJ, he actually was the one that told me, he was like, you should put a project out like that. Just put out an acapella project. Like, you don't need a beat. Just do it. I was like, you think so? He like, yeah. I'm like, okay. So I talked to Smitty. So everybody that knows me knows Smitty, basically. That's my godmom. And she basically has been with me through, like, the whole process. She's like my godmomager or whatever. So I was working with her. I finally was like, okay, let me see how PDA works. So PDA was my first project, and I called it that because it's like a public display of artistry. Because at the time, I never put music out on my own. So it was like my public display of what I've been working on for a while. And I was like, okay, you know, let's just see what happens. I didn't have, you know, big expectations. I was just like, this is what I made. These are the songs that have been stuck in my head. Let me just put them out. So we put those out. And to my surprise, it was received like really well. And I was able to go travel in other cities and perform over there. And then I got the opportunity to perform out in London. So that was major. And from there, I just started working on more music. And the funny thing is, the song that everybody kind of knows me for now, which is Clear My Mind, we recorded that before PDA was even finished. So,
wow.
yeah. So we recorded.
PDA was lit. PDA was lit.
Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, we had the next steps before we even did the first step, you know. So we put PDA out. Clear My Mind was already in the vault, so we were like, okay, after PDA, we're gonna let people get to know you through that, and then we'll put out a single. So I put out Clear My Mind. We tried to get that to everybody we could. Shout out to Hot Rod, because he was the first person to give me radio play on Power 92. Shortly after that, I was selected for the On the Come Up. AT&T and GCI did this thing for On the Come Up artists. I was one of the artists selected. They played my single there. So that was like my second time ever being played on the radio. Then we did the video for that. That did really well. And I just wanted to create a solid project for my sophomore EP. So I was working on that while this, you know, traction is building or whatever. And then we put out the second single. And the second single, Gone Off You, actually came out so fast because shout out to, why am I drawing a blank right now? GCI again. Why am I drawing a blank? I don't know, it'll come to me.
Okay.
But I had the opportunity to premiere a song on GCI.
Okay.
And that's why Gone Off You came out so fast, because I intentionally did not plan on putting it out as quickly.
Okay.
But you know, all things work for the good, so I'm happy. We put it out. It was received well. So now that's 2 songs on the radio, and I still don't even have my second EP out. And I just feel very grateful. Like, the process it's been a long one, but I feel like it's worth it up to this point. I'm still very in love with the work of it. So it's still good.
You see me looking off, I'm taking notes. But
no, you're good. You're good.
So tell me this, is singing like your full-time career right now?
It's my full-time career as far as what I put all of my time into, but as an independent artist, you got to have hustle. So I work like 3-4 jobs on the side, you know, to fund this dream.
So how do you make time?
Huh?
How do you make time, right? You have 3-4 jobs. How do you make time to sing, I know there's like,
girl,
practice your vocals, you got to promote, you got to do a lot of marketing, all that other stuff. Like, how do you balance all of it?
I ask myself the same question. But no, seriously, like, I'm fortunate because I have very supportive people around me. So, like, nobody ever gets too offended if I don't have as much time to spend, or if I'm being pulled in a lot of different directions. The good thing about the jobs I work is all of them, you create your own schedule. So I will say, for anybody that's an independent artist that's trying to find ways to get funding or just support their lifestyle, go into stuff that's like gonna be flexible. So like brand ambassador work, bartending, all those things, doing hair. That's the stuff I'm doing just to stay afloat as I, like, you know, get my career on the way. I just work a lot of jobs and I make sure that they're like balanced in between. And then I do a lot of writing sessions with people and, you know, recording and, you know, shows. And I figure it out. A lot of times I be going crazy, but you gotta do what you gotta do, you know. If you love it, you'll figure it out. That's what anything.
So how did you figure out the money part, right? So, you know, for me, my background's finance and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about, I'm thinking about like being an artist. How do you make money with that, right? Like, I know maybe like you could sign with a label, but now I know a lot of people are going independent, right? So like, where does the money aspect come in? And like for you, like with your background, like how did you find out like how to monetize, and does that like matter to you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because the goal is to get so much money from making music that I don't have to work these other jobs, and I can start taking care of my mother, and you know, all those goals, right? So for artists who are trying to like figure out how to make money, and I'm still figuring this out myself, don't think that I'm out here rolling in it, because I'm not. You have to do things that make your brand more than a brand, where there's like different ways of income flows. So a lot of people I know, they do merch. So whenever you see your people putting merch out and you feel like you support them as an artist, you need to go and buy a t-shirt from your person, because that t-shirt is going to help them pay for their mixing session for the next single that you want to get from them. So merch, that's one way. Collabing with other artists and getting paid to do features, or writing for other artists and getting paid off the royalties, and just selling music, period. Or even just having people that really rock with your music streaming it all the time. Like, people think it's a joke, but some artists that are major, they have like robots playing their music all the time to get the streams up. But like, if you got people who are just supporters of you and they play your music on a regular basis, when you're part of a performance rights organization, I'll explain more about that. So when you're a part of a performance rights organization, they pay you based on how many times a song is played. And when you get those royalties back, you could cash them out depending on who you distribute your music through. I go through DistroKid. That's a website I use to put my music out. So I use DistroKid. Some people use CD Baby. It's just a lot of different ways you could do it. But they will count up how many times your song gets played and give you money based on what platform it's from, be it Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music. All of those give different percentages of money to the artist based on how many times people play your song. So that's the way you get money. So if you got supporters, y'all need to be playing these songs like on repeat. Make sure you're playing them, because that's how your person that you love is going to get paid and going to get fed and going to eat. And yeah, and then of course doing shows. So a lot of artists we're down right now because what we will be doing is gigs, and nobody could do gigs because we in the crib.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's ways to make it as an independent artist. It's just a slow moving
Mm-hmm.
situation, you know. But
So no one's
yeah,
overnight, an overnight success
no,
music.
no, no, no. I mean, you could be if you're like a label plant or something like that, where they just pluck you out and just push all this money behind you. Then all of a sudden, you see their face everywhere. But that's because they got the money to market you, and that is the benefit to being with a label. It's not all bad to get signed.
You already beat me to my next question. I was about to say, you're independent.
Yeah,
So I was about
yeah.
to say,
I'm independent.
what's the pros and cons? Because I know back in the day, my day, 2000s, right? Everybody wanted to be on the label. It was dope. But now
Yeah,
people are like, no, you're taking all my money, and all these docuseries about people stealing money, right? So like, what's
yeah.
the pros and cons of each one for you?
Okay, so like I was saying earlier, it's so important to know the business before you jump into this industry,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a lot of things that, yeah, you take some crappy deals to start out just because you like, okay, let me get my foot through the door, get the widespread audience,
Mm-hmm.
build that up, and then I'll renegotiate, or then I'll go to another label, or then I'll get out of my deal completely. But it all has to do with the paperwork you sign. Having a lawyer is major, having a real team is major, having a manager is major. Like, all of those things can kind of help you get the best situation for the level in which you're at as an artist. So yeah, you're gonna end up with a crappy deal your first deal unless you were somebody who was making money out the gate on your own,
Mm-hmm.
and then you got a little more leverage. So that's always the goal, to like do as much as you can independently, so that when you get into those rooms, you have leverage to talk about, this is what I want. Okay, this is what you want. Let's figure out how to make it work. Um, but it just takes a while to even get to that point of power in your career compared to these machines of labels who have been doing it for years. So yeah, that's the difference. But I will say the good thing about being independent is, when I talk to my friends who are signed, they have so much trouble putting music out because it has to be approved, and they got so much trouble selecting pictures because somebody has to approve it, and they got shows that they want to do that they can't do because somebody doesn't approve it. So the benefit of independence is freedom.
Mm-hmm.
I can collab with who I want to. I could pick out a photo that I like and make it the artwork. I can put out a song tomorrow if I felt like it. So I feel like, in the sense of freedom, independent is the way. But if you're trying to get like worldwide interactions, and you want all these millions of dollars, you probably want to go to the industry route and get a deal, because that'll like kickstart your situation. But yeah, I feel like it's pros and cons to both. I'm not somebody who's like so hard pressed on either side of the spectrum, but you do what you can for what's good for your period in time.
We got a question saying, who do you identify with as an artist?
As far as other artists, or like,
I would probably assume like is there another artist that has like maybe similar type of style to you?
um, I don't know. I could say some artists that I admire.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
who's your inspiration?
yeah, I would say, um, as far as somebody I've been looking at a lot lately for no reason, Victoria Monet. She's
Ooh.
just a really dope artist, and she's a songwriter, and she's been in the game for a while. She writes for some of the majors. Like, she's been in this for a while, and she's just somebody I look at and admire for like her tenacity through this industry. Beyonce, obviously, because she's Beyonce, and I just love her work ethic and how she has basically become the greatest right before our eyes. Our generation, we saw it happen, we watched it. Um, Missy Elliott, of course. There's just so many. There's so many, but uh, yeah, I don't know as far as like who I'm like, that I would say. I mean, people say I look like Riri, which is cool. I think it's the foreheads, and that's okay too. But I love her. I want to be a mogul like her. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't
So
know.
what about this? There was a question I had prior. So like you were talking about a team, right? Like you need to have a lawyer, you need to have a manager. How long did that take you to put together a team? And like how would somebody coming up in the industry find those type of people if they don't have
Mm-hmm.
access?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So early, I didn't have management. I didn't have anybody to like that I felt like believed in me enough and that I trusted enough. Those two things are key with anybody in your team, because having somebody who believes in you will be the difference in how hard they work on your behalf when you're not
Mm-hmm.
around. And then the trust factor has to be there, because they're basically you when you're not around. So you got to trust their voice, and that their voice will be a representation of what you would say,
Mm-hmm.
rooms that you're not in. So um, before me and Smitty connected, I was talking to other people, like trying to fill them out to see, but I was kind of doing my own thing before she and I connected. And with her, it was more like, I feel like she's a mom. So it's like, it was easy because she believes, obviously. Otherwise, she wouldn't have even jumped on board for a girl who at the time wasn't seeing any progress and have any money, all those things. Um, and as far as a lawyer, I got that in the family, so I kind of cheated
Okay.
my way to that person. But if you want to find those things, there's a lot of mixers and stuff that are beneficial if you go to them, because I've met some people, I've gotten booked for shows, I've collaborated with people simply off going to these artist mixers and going to stuff like the ASCAP Expo. So that goes back to the performance rights organization I was telling you about. So when you are an artist, a songwriter, you should definitely join the performance rights organization. So there's ASCAP, BMI, CSAC. It's a bunch of different, it's not a bunch. It's like those are the main three. But if you join one of those, they have workshops all the time where you can meet people who are really working in the industry, who can really give you like background experience on how to maneuver through it. And it's just one of those situations where you just have to be humble enough to ask the questions that you're scared to ask,
Mm-hmm.
or to ask somebody for help, or to just, be an open book when you're coming to somebody and you're asking them for help. You also have to be able to provide something too. Like, you can't just expect somebody to, like, break their back for you and you have nothing to offer. It
But
definitely has to
free.
be, yeah, it definitely has to be some type of bartering situation. Like, you got to bring a lot to the table. Um, and yeah, I feel like if you are serious, you'll look into research, you'll look up people who could be like um, key factors in your career, and watch how people have moved in the past and try to emulate it, and connect with people that you see on your level who are trying to do the same thing. Because a lot of times the person that you need is right here in their
Mm-hmm.
industry. They're starting out as well. So if y'all collab at this level and grow together, it's the best of both worlds for both of y'all, because it's not much time wasted, because both of y'all are getting something out the deal. And it's just a better situation when you find somebody who's getting in the door just like you are,
Right, right.
because they're hungry. And that's what you need. You need somebody who's hungry. So then when you eat, they eat. And
Right.
they have that same type of drive behind your work that you would.
We got a comment saying, what are the requirements to join this org or like those orgs that you just named?
Oh, nothing. All you gotta do is sign up. I feel like when I'm with ASCAP. So when I joined ASCAP, I was still in college, and I found out about them because I was taking a music business course at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know if I had to pay. Like, I feel like it's free. I can't remember. But it was one of the best decisions I ever made, because I went to the ASCAP Expo
Mm-hmm.
twice. The first time I went, I had the opportunity to hear people like James Fauntleroy speak.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him a question, and I told him basically like what I've been doing and trying to put out music so far. He was like, to be honest, it sounds like you know what you're doing. You just got to do it. I was like, okay, like, all right, fine. So, you know, just being able to talk to him, that's how I really felt like, just put PDA out, just put it out, because I talked to him. He was like, it sounds like you know what you're doing. You don't need anybody to help you. Just put it out. Don't be scared. I'm like, all right, cool. Oh, Jamal Smalls, first of all, is the person that I was talking about, the DJ
Oh,
who gave
yes.
me the opportunity. So shout out to Jamal Smalls for allowing me to have Gone Off You premiere on the radio, because that was major. But back to ASCAP. So uh, when
Just
you
talk
join
about.
these organizations,
Mm-hmm.
they give you opportunities to have like and reach conversations with people who you admire. Like, I met the guy that wrote Sandcastles for Beyonce, and I got to, when the next time I went to LA, he let me sit in one of his writing sessions, and I was just able to be a fly on the wall and see how he moves in his process. It's like, it doesn't take much for you to get into these rooms except a humble heart. You just have to be willing to ask and got to be a little fearless. When you see these people, just go up to them and tell them, like, this is who I am. This is what I want to do. Would you mind this? And don't ask for nothing like outrageous unless you just really ballsy. But all I asked was, can I be a fly on the wall? Like, can I sit in one of your sessions? Like, I don't need anything from you. I just want to learn how you work so I could work at the same level where I am, you know? So, yeah, but to answer the question, it doesn't take anything to join those organizations. If you go to ASCAP.com, you could look at how to join. If you go to BMI, you could look at how to join. Yeah.
Okay. Now we got another question. When you think about your journey, what are you most proud of?
Oh, that's my sis. Hey. When I think about my journey, I'm just most proud of the fact that I haven't quit, because I failed so many times, and I failed publicly, and I've tried, and I've spent my last, and I've been in situations where, like, I really thought something was going to be the thing, and it just, the rug was pulled right under me, and you just get up and dust it off. I feel like everything that I've been proud of is because of that, because something horrible happened, I didn't give up, something great happened. Something horrible happened, didn't give up, something great happened. Because, like, even with all that's going on in the world right now, I was supposed to be moving to LA next weekend. That's not happening. You know what I mean?
Quarantine affect anything for you?
Yeah, no, yeah. Like, there it is. Because, like, it's stuff that you want, but if it's not in his timing, you're not going to get it.
Right.
And you just have to, you know, take a step back, figure out who you are, what your purpose is, why you're still here, and do what you can at the level that he's allowing you to be on in the fullest way, though. Like, really go for it, and don't feel like, you know, you're not good enough, or somebody telling you no means that this isn't what you're supposed to do. It's just not that opportunity, or not right now, or, you know, it's a lot of stuff that could deter somebody who's in the arts, because it is such a unbalanced type of way of living. But to say that I'm proud of anything, it would be the fact that I'm still trying. Yeah, so.
And then what else? How do you develop yourself as an artist, right? Like singing, I know you said developing a team so they can help like take care of like the marketing and pushing stuff, but like how do you develop yourself and your craft, and somebody saying like, oh, you need to like have a different pitch, or you need to like,
oh yeah. I love the way you're trying to make this sound all like technical.
Yeah, because I have no idea about anything in this industry.
But it's okay. So I have a vocal coach. Her name is Angel Lee. She's out in LA. If y'all want to send some prayers up for her, her brother actually just passed from COVID-19. So if y'all could pray for her, that would be great. But I work with a vocal coach. I feel like anybody that's serious about their art, they will get a coach, because you have to be coached in everything. And my mom be treating me like, if I'm off or pitchy or something like that, she be like, that ain't it. She's like, that ain't it, you know? She'll tell me flat out. And then another thing is the women I work with, so Ish, Ami, Amber, Bjornik, all of them, they like keep me sharp. Being with them all the time makes me stay on my game and like just really grow as an artist, and just, you know, develop even more into the sound that I want to have, because I can experiment so freely with them and without judgment, that it gives you the room to become the artist that you want to be and to just grow and flourish. But yeah, you got to have that part too. Yeah.
How did you get that confidence, right? I think ever since I met you, right, you seem, at least to me, like a very confident woman. So like, where did that confidence come to just come in and be like, yeah, I'm gonna own the room, or like, you know, I'm gonna ask these questions because I need them answered, right? Like, where did that come from? You and that.
I'm gonna be honest, I have no clue, because I started my life being very shy, which is why it took me so long to even sing out loud in the first place. But I think I just got to the place where I was tired of living that way. Like, I was like, I want something better, and if I'm gonna get something better, I gotta do something different. So every time I do this scary thing of asking somebody I admire a question, or every time I like just go sing in front of more people than I've ever sang in front of. I just think like, okay, if this is the last opportunity you have to do this or to see this person or to talk, don't regret it tomorrow. And then that's how I just psych myself into it. Like, it's almost like ripping a Band-Aid off. I be scared as hell every time. Like, I be so scared. But then I'm just like, hey, I mean, I really try to live by the only thing you could get is a no. So I just be putting myself in all types of horrible, awkward situations. But it's cool.
Gotta be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah, you really do, because you're not gonna make it sitting in your little comfort zone. It's not gonna work.
So Nate talked about consistency. Yeah, that's so true. I think everybody that has like that's their own entrepreneur going after their own goals, like just consistent, right? Like if you're doing what you want, you know why you're doing it, you're hungry for it, and you're doing it every single day. Like you said, right? There's some days you have like setbacks, some days you move forward, but like if you do it consistently, things will work in your favor.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm a firm believer of that even in the music industry, because a lot of times when people hear about like overnight sensations and stuff, it's because they were the same. They were the same. And their artists just kept rallying behind them, pushing them forward until somebody took notice. But the art that they created was quality. The person that they were didn't change. The heart of that person wasn't affected by the nose. And it's just like, you just have to believe in it more than the people around you, so that then they don't feel crazy for believing in it with you. Because you got to be the crazy person in the room. You got to be the one that's like, no, I'm going to do this. And I don't really have a reason. I don't really know how, but I'm doing this. You know? And you just got to believe it so strong that it's like everybody looking at you like, all right, maybe this bitch really is going to do it. Right. So it's like, it's one of those situations. But you got to be persistent and consistent. Like, the two of those together, because it ain't gonna work, baby.
So what about being like a woman in the music industry, right? Like I already know that's probably tough. Like, you know, we got to see Nicki Minaj grow up in the industry. Like you said, we saw Beyonce, a plethora of female artists. So like, how is it for you? And do you feel like pressured at all to like change your image or to be more like provocative?
Yeah, absolutely. And then it's always, okay, well, first of all, it's hard as a woman in any industry. Let's just talk about that. And I feel like with the music industry, because it's one of those things where people try to already downplay the artist because they think that they're just a face or they're just like this little pet to put in front of people. That's a lack of respect right there. And then you get into rooms where it's producers who really don't want to work with you. They're just trying to, you know, do whatever. And they get your hopes up and they have you thinking one thing and they really are intended on doing something else. You got to deal with that a lot. I had one of like crazy studio stories. I'll tell those another day. It's just like, it's weirdos out here, man.
Yeah.
But it's hard being a woman in music, but that's why I'm so grateful and appreciative to be surrounded by other women in music, and we believe in each other, and we are just as good as, if not better than, some of the guys in the industry. So I never really feel like I'm lacking in anything, but I also have learned that you can't really teeter with the jokey thing with guys, because then they'll take that and run with it. You got to be cut and dry when you're in these situations, when you're in these rooms. It's not playtime. You know what you're doing. You know this industry is not, you're not acting coy and cute. It's like, speak up. You know, walk into the room. I know what I want. I know how I want my mix. I know that I don't want this reverb. I know I want this type of EQ. Put a little reverb on there. All right, let's go. You know? Or this is what I want to write about. This is what I want to do. You know? And it's like, when you come into the room with the sureness, they can't really try to demean you for being a woman, because you're like, I know what I'm doing.
But thank you.
Yeah, so it's one of those things. But I feel like guys are starting to understand, you know, that the value is more than the physical. And I'm happy to see the strides the industry is making to be more inclusive with gender as well. But I don't know if it's something that's ever going to stop per se until more women stop being catty and start working together.
Is it the same thing for race too, or do you think it's more of like a gender issue?
As far as race goes in the industry, I feel like that's a tough one, because a lot of what this industry produces was created from us. So you know, there's always that little
Speak on it. Speak on it.
there's always that little underlying thing, you know. But I do know that they, as a Black woman, we tend to be overly sexualized, and you know, all these other things or stuff we do is always considered to be more. I don't even know what to call it, promiscuous or whatever, than if another color were to choose to do the same thing. But I feel like that's just your battle, and that's where you got to have that confidence in who you are as an artist and what you stand for. Because then it's like, you could say whatever you want, but I know what I'm representing. I know what I want to do, you know, and eventually you'll get in tune. So, you know.
Big facts. Big facts. And I was about to say, even like, what advice would you have for women coming up in the industry? And I think you kind of said it already, right? Like, be assertive, know what you want, and claim that, and be okay with that, even if you don't know. Because I feel like a lot of women have, even me, sometimes in my career, I have imposter syndrome, right? You're here, you're like, oh, I don't know enough, or why am I here? But it's like, no, you know
do.
that. Yeah.
And probably more than somebody sitting next to you that's been there longer. But you don't. But it's not a game of trying to put somebody else down or trying to like toot your own horn. But when you got the opportunity to speak on what you know, speak on it. Or when you feel like your idea is a great one, say so. You know, like that happens a lot in writing sessions for artists. Like you'll be in a room and it'll be like 5 writers, mix of genders, races, and stuff. And sometimes people get scared to yell out a line or scared to sing a part that they think is good. And when you hear something, you got to trust what you hear, because you're also being fed, you know, just like they're being fed, and whatever you feel intuitively, you got to trust that. And it's almost more than trusting yourself. It's more about like trusting what God gave you. Like, he didn't give you that for no reason. So if you feel like you walking into a room and you feel like maybe you're not supposed to be there, he put you there. So if you don't trust yourself, trust that. If you don't believe in yourself, believe in that. So it's like, you just gotta have that heart that is like aligned at all times, which is hard to do. It's not easy to just be like, you know, sure of yourself every day. But when you can be, you should be.
So what are like your big goals, right? What's coming up next for you?
So I'm very excited. I'm putting out a project. The second project's almost done. I'm just doing a few little last minute tweaks and such. I was supposed to move to, you know, another city, but I think it's still gonna happen. I'm not gonna say it's not gonna happen, but I was supposed to move to another city to talk, you know, more about the industry with some people, and just to like grow as an artist and get some real like placements. That's a big goal of mine. I really want to get placements for another artist, a major artist, right, for them.
Wait, what is placements for another artist?
Oh, okay. So like, so let's say your favorite. Okay, so the battles that they've been doing with the songwriters and stuff that Chris Beast has been doing. So those songwriters have placements on those artists. So that's what you call a placement. So like if you write a song and Rihanna sings it, you got a placement with Rihanna.
Got it.
Yeah. So a big goal of mine is to have a placement with a major artist. I would love to open up for a tour, like a major artist tour. That's a goal of mine. So hopefully this sophomore EP does well. Can y'all run it up for me so that it does well? So that it will get somebody's attention. So they're like, no, we should have her open, you know. So yeah, those are the big goals. Put my project out, get a placement, and be on somebody's tour. So if I could see those things in the next year, I'd be a happy girl.
You will already know what's going on.
Yeah.
So how can people support artists, right? Like, how can your friends, family, even people watching this live, like, what's the best way? I know you talked about earlier in the live, like, buy merch, or if they have something to have out, it's probably to get like more studio time. But like, how can we support artists? How can we support you?
Listen to the music I put out. Put it in all your playlists. And like when you hear other people that are creating playlists, tell them to add your friends' music so that somebody else could be introduced to it, so that it could grow like naturally in that way. How else can they support? Come to the shows. Like, I don't know if y'all know, but like when we apply for these festivals and stuff, they ask us, how many people have you performed in front of? So if only 10 of your friends come to your shows, it's like, I appreciate 10 of y'all. Can y'all bring 10 people with y'all too? You know what I'm saying? So then even in like footage that you get, it looks like you got a slew of people who support you, because you might have a slew of people who support you, but they might not come to that show, or they might not, you know, do this one or whatever. They might not be late night people. But sometimes if you really believe in somebody, just come to their stuff. Like, it'll pay off, and then you'll be able to go out to eat with them when the bill is on them. But you gotta help them right now. Like, help them get it right now, so then all of y'all could win later. But yeah, just support whatever it is they ask you for. As far as like, repost this for me, or I'm putting out this song, can you share it with some people? Can you text it to some people? Like, that stuff matters, because the sad thing is, in this industry, numbers still play a big role in who they give attention and spotlight to. So, you know.
I sense a post-quarantine like show going on you're gonna have.
And man, listen, I'm ready. I'm so ready. I've been in this house with all types of ideas. So I don't know. I'm excited to see what the other side of this looks like for all of us. You know, I feel like this has been a really good time for us to kind of like dig into ourselves, increase your prayer time, figure out your purpose, learn to be, I was talking to my friend today, learn to be okay with the quiet, the stillness of what it is right now. And you don't have to always be on the go. You don't always have to have something to do. You know, just take this time and see it as a value, you know, and be safe. Stop going outside without gloves and masks on. Like, I went to the grocery store yesterday. This girl was like, I don't believe in masks. And I dang near darted to the other side of the cart. I'm like, oh my God, like, what you talking about, girl? Stop playing.
We also got another question by Mario. He said, do you have any advice for getting placements on big playlists?
I don't. When you find out, let me know. Because it's very much so relationship based. It's relationship based, and you have to know somebody that will put in a good word for you. So that's why when I was talking about those mixers and just being personable, that's important, because the person sitting next to you could be the source that you need to get into a door that you've been trying to get open. Yeah.
So we all want to know, are we able to hear? We hear you're dropping a new single, new project.
Yeah. On Friday, by the way. Yeah. I can hear something. I'm gonna play something. So, but I do have a song that's gonna be available on all platforms on the 17th. The video is coming out for that too. It's called "Gone Off You." But I'll play y'all a little something from the project that's about to come out.
Oh, blessings.
But what's crazy is, remember I was telling you how I did PDA, how I had all these songs in my head but no beat. So this is one of those situations where I had this song in my head, and somebody was able to make a beat for it, and that somebody would be Ish. So shout out to her. But yeah, I'll play a little bit of this song. It's called "Losing." It sound okay? I thought that if I changed, you would love me. Be a little less public. Try to be a little more perfect. And maybe then you think I'm worth it all. See, I just wanted to be good for you. Even if it was bad for me. Even if I was a casualty. It was bad for me. Just right for you. I will take the oath just to lie for you. Never thought you'd say it's not a sky, boy. But now I question myself, are you worth it for real? 'Cause I'm not happy, what can't you tell? That I have distance myself, put my heart on the shelf. It's so clear, baby, that I We need that today. Thank you.
You can send that over my way. Like
All right.
I'm gonna blast that for these 8 o'clock shows for quarantine.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm glad y'all like it, man. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Oh, we got tons of comments. Where do I start?
Oh,
So you mentioned moving to LA too. Can you elaborate on like the strategy? Seems like Chicago is behind you and your infrastructure is so strong.
Man, I love y'all. I have a plan. Shout out to my sisters out in LA because they are a big part of my plan. So this is what I've done so far. I'll tell you this. So before I even had the idea to move, I'm gonna give y'all a little backstory. So remember I was telling y'all about relationships? So one of my guys from SIU, we had a music business class together. He was like, yo, come to the studio with me when I was out in LA because he lives out there now. He's a mixing engineer. So he was like, yo, come to the studio with me. I'm like, okay. I'm getting dressed. He like, oh, by the way, it's Babyface studio. I was like, what? Like, what are you even talking about? So I get there, we meet one of his mentors who is a major producer engineer. And I'm just sitting there like, just like, wow, I'm here. Da, 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 da. So we talking. I don't do too much. I don't yell too loud about being an artist because I'm like, let me make sure that I could get everything I can out of this room, right? So I'm there. I don't say much. We about to go. I hugged everybody. I was like, thank y'all for letting me come through. Da, da, da. It was like, hey, come back tomorrow. I'm like, okay. So me and him came back the next day. We talked a little more. I watched them do their process with a writing session. That day in the hallway, there's Babyface. Meet him. Crazy because he's like the ultimate to me as far as like songwriters go. Like Babyface is the one. So I'm like, okay, bro, this is crazy. So I don't do too much. We all follow each other on Instagram. So I knew eventually they would see what I do. I just was like, that's gonna be it. So I go to LA a couple months later. I'm like, hey, I'm in town. I would love to come by and say hi again. They're like, yeah, come on. Because they already know from the last 2 times she's cool in the studio. So I'm like, okay. So I go to the studio this next time. And, we just talked. And finally, at that point, I think we started talking about me being an artist. I don't even trip too much. I'm just like, okay, let me leave. Come back a couple months later. I was out there for my friend's wedding. And I come in. And he's like, so when are you moving to LA? I was like, what? Like, I just wasn't even expecting that to be asked. So I'm like, I don't know. And he was like, well, I think March is a good time, right? So I was like, okay, let me figure this out. So, the whole year following that, I was like, okay, let me figure out how to do this. And I really couldn't figure it out. I was getting, sad about it. I couldn't figure out where the money was going to come from because LA is expensive. And I was like, okay, let me figure this out. So it was an up and down of, yeah, I'm going to go. No, I'm not going to go. Yeah, I'm going to go. No, I'm not going to go. So finally, I was working my ass off. Like, I was working so many jobs and working crazy hours. I would work one job, leave that, go to the next job. One of my jobs I had to be there at 6 a.m. So I was up at 4 o'clock. I get off work there at 3 p.m. I had to work that night at 5, work 2 shifts from 5 to 8. Then another one from 9 to midnight. So I was doing crazy stuff. Like, I was like, I'm going to get this money. I'm going to figure this out, whatever. So then I was talking to my girls. They was like, yo, we believe in you. Just, come here. We'll figure this out, blah, blah, blah. So that was okay, I know I'm not going to be, like, on my own. I could make this happen. So what I did was I just saved up the money to be good for, like, 3 months. So I saved it up. I got a new car because you got to have a car in L.A. And when we were getting the plans together for the move, boom, Corona. I was like, well,
quarantine.
Yeah, I was like, well, right. So I guess we're on pause. But my mom is like my ace boom. She was like, no, we're still going. We're gonna figure this out. We're just gonna wait it out, and we're gonna get you there. So that's where we are right now. It's just like, I'm gonna go when the world is ready for me to be there, when God gives me permission, when he puts me on assignment to be in LA, I'll be in LA. But for now, Chi-Town baby, Southside.
So I know we got 10 minutes left. I wanted to read all the comments, but you got so many. Everybody's just praising your single.
Oh,
everything you got coming out. And so Yasmin had a question and said, so is networking the same type as like a singer from like, let's say someone in business? Do you go to like seminars and stuff? Is that like how your networking works?
Yeah, that's kind of like when I was talking about going to these conferences and music workshops. Like music workshops, you can meet some of the coldest artists and producers in the game. And that'll probably be the one time ever that you can meet them where it's not loud music playing because you're not in a club. Mm-hmm. It's not them in their entourage. You could just walk up to that person and literally say what you need to say because they were on a panel that you sat in on or something mm-hmm. like that. And that almost shows them how serious you are about it, because if you're willing to pay money just to learn more about how to maneuver, they're like, oh, you're serious, you know? Mm-hmm. You're going to do what it takes to make it. So a lot of people that I met in situations like that. But then you do have the situations where you're just at the studio and you bump into the right person, or you're at the club, you know, and you see somebody in a section next to you, like, let me talk to them. And then you talk to them, y'all drink together, and it's cool. It's just like with the music industry, because music is everywhere, you can kind of take every opportunity as an opportunity to meet the person that you need to meet. So I feel like that with anything. And I think, like, one of my girls, she worked in the fashion industry, and one of her idols was at a party we went to. I'm like, girl, go talk to him. And then she talked to him, and it was cool. Like, he hugged her. Like, it's one of them things where you just cannot be scared. If they treat you, then you know they're not the person for you anyway. I'd rather them treat me before I keep chasing after them, mm-hmm. and I find out they're a horrible person, like they're a horrible human being, and I just leave them alone, than to be looking years of trying to get to them, finally get to them and find out they were horrible, and I could have spent my time talking to somebody else that was for me. So sometimes you just got to go do it. You just got to push it.
I think through this live, everybody can see how beautiful your spirit is, how genuine you are.
Ah!
Yeah. You're such a great person. Your brand's on point. Everything's great. We got everybody in comments.
Thank you, sis. No, you're the great person. You are the great, for real, for real. Like, you inspire me on another level. Like, I'm. That's what I mean by, like, the people you surround yourself will really be a testament to the person that you are, because you keep me going. It's so many people that just keep me going, and I'm just like, I cannot be the lazy friend. I can't be the lazy friend, so I'm just like, I gotta get to it. Y'all not gonna call me the lazy friend. I'm not gonna be the lazy friend.
Lazy is that's nowhere near London Lo. London Lo lazy.
Ask people I live with; they'll tell you different. I have lazy days.
So I know we got 7 minutes left, but I want to at least leave this question. So we end these lives saying, name someone in your inner circle that's being great, right? That's influencing you, that's pushing you, your support system, or anyone in general. It doesn't have to be one person.
Okay.
But just name people who are being great.
I'm gonna be like Whitney Houston when she was on that mic.
Go ahead, get it.
All right, shout out to my bestie, Rakaya, Jayana, Toby, Andrea, Indigo, Jasmine, Ish, Ami, Amber, Bjornick, my boo, Aaron, my mama, my sister, it's so many people, but I'm being extra. Smitty, it's just so many people, and that's why I feel blessed, because I feel like they just like keep me grounded, keep me lifted. It's just so many to name, and I feel like that's what I'm most grateful for. I'd be crazy if I tried to name everybody that I admire, because even my girls out in LA, you got like Lex and my girl Brittany, she in Atlanta, and Ayantha, and like Paris, and it's just so many people. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Delta Beta, first of all. Yeah, all of y'all. Yeah.
EB.
Because it's so many greats just in that chapter. So it's like, I'm not alone in the great department. So I'm very blessed.
When people think about you, what do you want, like, your brand to be, right? Like, when people think of Whitney London Lo, like, what do you want people to know?
You know how you go to holiday dinners and you finally see all of your family? Mm-hmm. And you be like, oh, my favorite cousin's here. I'm your favorite cousin.
I love that.
I'm the one that inspires you. I'm the one that'll make you laugh. But I'm also the one that give you advice to keep you going, give you some drive. But I do want people to feel like they're close to me, and that we relate and we connect on a deeper level than just like, social media distance. But yeah, I want to feel like family, because everybody around me feels like family. So
how can people stay connected and hit you up or follow you? How can we support you? Like, how can we stay connected with you?
So I'm on everything at LNDNLO. So it's London without the O's on everything. I'm on all of your favorite streaming platforms. So run my numbers up, please. Go listen to everything because there's more coming out. My website is londonlolive.com. What else? Yeah, I mean, the regulars.
And so Nate said, where can we get that music when it drops on 4/17?
It's gonna be on all the platforms, literally. Like,
okay.
Wherever you want to listen to music on a daily basis, that's where you can find the song. We having a watch party on YouTube on Friday. So get to YouTube around like 6:50, because before the video starts, we're gonna have like a little chat room. And talk about the video, and y'all gonna like the video because it's gonna feel like we going outside, even though outside is closed. So it's fun. So get a drink when you watch the video. We gonna do that together. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the live, sharing your story.
Man,
I mean, you
thank
got me inspired to
you.
go
Thank
now.
you,
So
girl. I love you.
I love you too. So
Yeah.
I will save this. I'm gonna upload it. I'll send it to you. Let me know. But thank you so much. Thank you everybody for all the great comments, listening.
Thank you, guys.
And yeah, talk to you later.
Okay, what do I do? How do I?
Whatever y'all.
How do I get out? I don't know.
All right, I'll end it.
Okay.